The Atlantic crashes against the dunes of Long Island's South Shore. On bright summer days, Gilgo Beach feels like a sanctuary. Families unpack coolers, fishermen cast lines, children dig in the sand. But when the tide retreats, the waves seem to whisper something else, a darker truth, a secret buried beneath the reeds and the dunes. For more than a decade, Gilgo Beach has been synonymous not with leisure but with fear. It was here in 2010 that a police search for one missing woman uncovered a string of horrors, multiple bodies hidden along Ocean Parkway. And now, in 2025, the story has erupted once more. Prosecutors have filed new charges against Rex Heuermann, the 60-year-old Manhattan architect already accused in connection with several of the murders. For years, he seemed ordinary, commuting from his modest red home in Massapequa Park, raising a family, running an architecture firm in Midtown. But investigators say that behind closed doors, his life hid something sinister. The question haunting Long Island today is chilling. How could a suburban architect become the face of one of America's darkest serial killer cases? But prosecutors warn these new charges reveal secrets far darker than anyone imagined. The story begins in December 2010. Shannon Gilbert, a 24-year-old woman, vanished after making a frantic 911 call near Oak Beach. Police searched for her, but instead stumbled upon something no one expected: human remains, wrapped in burlap, then another, and another. By the end of winter, 4 women were found. They would become known as the Gilgo Four. All were young, all were connected to escort services. All had disappeared under similar circumstances. News spread like wildfire. Long Island, once a landscape of suburban calm, suddenly felt under siege. Mothers warned their daughters, neighbors whispered about a predator hiding in plain sight. By the summer of 2011, the scope had grown. Investigators uncovered additional remains, raising the victim count to 10, possibly more. Women, a toddler, an unidentified man. And yet, no arrests. Years slipped by. Suspects were questioned and dismissed. A local doctor became a person of interest, but was never charged. The case stagnated. Documentaries and podcasts kept the story alive. But for families, justice felt impossibly far away. And through all this time, Rex Heuermann's name never surfaced. He was, outwardly, just an architect, quiet, ordinary, invisible. But prosecutors now allege his private life was anything but. Burner phones, taunting calls, disturbing internet searches, even DNA evidence. Slowly the pieces converged. And in July 2023, the bombshell dropped. Rex Heuermann was arrested and charged with the murders of 3 women and named the prime suspect in the killing of a 4th. The hidden predator of Gilgo Beach now had a name, but even after the arrest, unease lingered. Neighbors asked, had he really been killing for years under their noses? Investigators admitted they weren't done. So what finally cracked the case wide open? The arrest wasn't luck. It was the result of relentless detective work and new forensic tools. In 2022, under mounting pressure, Suffolk County created a new task force. The FBI, state police, and local detectives joined forces. Their goal: break the SI Felnat Lake. The first breakthrough came from burner phones. For years, investigators knew some victims' phones were used after their deaths. Taunting calls were even made to families. But these calls came from prepaid phones bought with cash under fake names. A dead end. Until technology advanced, cell tower analysis revealed overlaps. The burner phones and Heuermann's personal devices often pinged from the same places, near his Manhattan office or his quiet street in Massapequa Park. The digital map pointed one way, toward Rex Heuermann. Then came the search histories. On his home computers, investigators found disturbing patterns. Endless searches about the case, violent fantasies, sadistic material. Prosecutors painted this as obsession. The defense countered, curiosity isn't proof, but the sheer scale of the searches raised eyebrows. And then, the evidence became physical. A single strand of hair, preserved for over a decade, found on the burlap wrapping one victim. DNA testing suggested it belonged to someone inside Heuermann's household. Prosecutors argued it was transfer evidence, proof that household DNA ended up at the crime scene. The defense dismissed it as possible contamination. Still, investigators pressed on. In a dramatic moment, detectives retrieved a discarded pizza crust from Heuermann in Manhattan. DNA from the crust matched genetic material found at the crime scene. It was the kind of breakthrough only modern forensics could deliver. Neighbors later recalled his odd behavior, his towering presence, his isolation, yet none had suspected. In court, prosecutors detailed it all: burner phones, DNA, internet searches, surveillance. Their picture was chilling, a man leading a double life. But doubts remained. The evidence was circumstantial. No eyewitnesses, no confession. Experts questioned. Could this case truly hold up in court? And then, in 2025, prosecutors made a stunning announcement. The new charges would change everything. What many thought was the end of the nightmare turned out to be only the beginning. In early 2025, Suffolk County prosecutors filed new murder charges against Rex Heuermann. The indictment expanded. The Gilgo Four were no longer the only victims tied to his name. Fresh forensic testing, new subpoenas, even testimony investigators had previously set aside, all pointed to additional victims. The image of Rex Heuermann was no longer confined to 4 murders. Prosecutors now suggested a larger pattern. The defense hit back immediately. They called it a trial by media, accusing prosecutors of stretching weak evidence. Cell tower data, they argued, was too broad. DNA could be contaminated, internet searches misinterpreted. Public reaction was immediate. Fear returned. News replayed his towering frame in handcuffs. Neighbors questioned everything they thought they knew. Families of the newly named victims grieved all over again. Vigils lit the shoreline. Candles flickered where waves once carried away secrets. But perhaps most unsettling was what prosecutors refused to say outright: how many other cases they were reviewing. Unsolved disappearances across Long Island were suddenly back under the microscope. The trial ahead promised to be explosive, but seeds of doubt grew too. Was Heuermann guilty of every charge, or was he becoming a scapegoat for multiple tragedies?
And if the defense is right, the case could collapse, and everything we thought we knew could be wrong.
As of 2025, Rex Heuermann faces multiple murder charges. The evidence is mounting, but the verdict remains undecided. Families wait in anguish. The community remains unsettled, and the shoreline of Gilgo Beach still feels heavy with unanswered questions. Was Heuermann the lone predator of Long Island? Or are there more secrets still hidden in the dunes? As the trial approaches, one truth is certain: this story is not over. Because on Gilgo Beach, the waves keep crashing, the sand keeps shifting, and the secrets buried there may not stay hidden forever.
Do you believe the evidence is enough for conviction, or is the real story still waiting to surface?